Hey, well, good afternoon, everyone. Scott Gallagher here with Local Marketing Source, and we've got an excellent, very exciting webinar today. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Just give me a moment to get started. Um, Now, while I'm doing this, we've got quite a few different people on the line right now. This is going out to our public audience, and I'd just like to hear from you guys, whereabouts you guys are. Why don't you just tell me a little bit about where you are in this world? I know we've got people in Australia and the United States and Canada and all over the place. So there you go. You should be able to see my screen right now, and we're going to get through to this presentation and go and take a look at a few different things. I see I've got a couple of different students on the line as well so far. I see Brian and George. Hey, Michael from Vancouver. Doug from Montana. Mike from San Diego. Paul from Pennsylvania. And we got another Canuck on here. Jamie from Calgary. Um, Georgia, Mark. We've got I got somebody giving me crap right now. Do we really have to do this during the World Cup match? I never realized that. I read something this morning that was saying, businesses are going to shut down for an hour and a half and whatnot. I didn't plan this. I apologize. But yeah, uh, sorry for all the Americans on the line right now. Um, the United States has got a pretty big game today. I'm not a huge World Cup fan, but definitely a bigger World Cup fan than I am, say, baseball or basketball. I got my partner here. He just went to a Cubs game yesterday, kind of mocking me. But yeah, you can hear a pin drop if you went and watched baseball in Toronto. But I'm wasting your time here, guys. So we're going to get going. I've got quite a few other people on the line as well from around the globe. So that's fantastic. And today we're going to talk about Google My Business. This is I'll tell you a little bit about what Google My Business is. There's really not a lot of new stuff that's really going to be much different in our strategy or anything, whatnot. But today we're going to just take a look at exactly what is Google My Business, how is it any different than what has existed in the past. You can see I took a screenshot yesterday of Google. Let me pull up my pen here, and Command P, there's my pen. And right on Google's homepage, they had this advertised. That's a really big deal when Google advertises something on their homepage. This is something that Google's been putting together for quite some time, quite a few years, as a matter of fact. So we're going to have an overview of what Google My Business is and how to effectively optimize it. And I'm going to walk through it as well and show you some different aspects of logging into an account and going through some of the best practices to properly optimize Google My Business in order to get top rankings on #1 on Google. And this is going to cover the 3 different pillars of local search. We've got some other content that's available. If you watched the webinar, you can go and check it out on the Local Marketing Source blog, the recording, the 3 pillars of local search. But that would be a great video to watch after this one or some other time. We're just going to go take a look at a commercial, 90 seconds here of what Google My Business is about. This is an ad that they're putting out to small businesses.
Every small business is different. But there's one thing they all need to be successful. It's this woman, and this guy, and all these people too. You see, these aren't just any people. They're your people. The customers you know on a first-name basis, who bring their families and tell their friends. And your people are online, right now, searching for you. When you get your business on Google, you make it easy for them to find you. You can also connect with them, share with them, and build the relationships that will grow your business. Unlock the full potential.
All right, we're not going to go through the entire video, but The reason why I wanted to show you that is just to get to the point and prove the point that Google is going mainstream now. They've finally gotten to the end. This is like the beginning of the end, what we're looking at today. This is where Google has ultimately wanted to get to for several different years of what we're going to be taking a look at how businesses, local businesses, are going to manage themselves on the internet. So roughly 3 years ago, we saw Google Plus be launched. That was Google's social network. At the time, it was being positioned as a competitor to Facebook. That's not the case anymore, as Larry Page has recently announced. Google Plus is a social network that allows us to have fans, followers, friends, share information, and whatnot. That was a big addition for local businesses back in the day 3 years ago. This is the next layer. This is the final layer that brings everything together. So it's a centralized location for a business to manage all of their analytics, all of their data, how much traffic they're getting, conversions, their social integration, how many followers, what's happening with content, is it being shared and exposed, reviews, who's talking about their business, who's saying good things, a place to respond to reviews, a place to manage your maps and get how many people have actually looked for driving directions for your business and whatnot. And so it brings it all together for a business to properly manage. Now, just as an understanding, I can't confirm this worldwide. I have to believe that I read that it is worldwide, and I think I recall 26 different countries rolled out at the same time. But I can definitely confirm for North America that all existing places pages and Google Plus pages are going to be automatically upgraded to the new Google My Business interface. Now, when businesses start out, I just took this screenshot and just wanted to show you that ultimately there's 3 types of businesses that are being managed in this area. And a storefront type of business, the first one that we're looking at, is going to be more so retail, restaurants and whatnot. Typically not businesses that my agency is going to deal with foot traffic. Now, when you start to talk about an attorney, for example, or a chiropractor, which area do they fall into, a storefront or a service area? Well, arguably, they could fit into both. We talk about service areas even with businesses that have storefronts, because there is a service area involved and people will travel a certain distance. We're going to take a look at that in the case of a chiropractor and ultimately how that would look. But I just want to demonstrate that Google is offering the functionality for each of these 3 types, and we're going to focus in on and look in on storefront and service area. Now, I'm going to go through 3 different slides here first before we get into a Google My Business account and take a look at what it looks like inside. But I just want to go through some of this. Now, I've also put this together on a cheat sheet. You can download it at that web address there, bit.ly/LMS local. You just put that into your browser. It's a little cheat sheet that you can download and give out to your clients. If you're a local business, it's something that you can follow along with. And it's just basic. It's a basic checklist of some of the things that we're going to go over today. So a business is going to go to that web address there, or you can go to Google and just type in Google My Business. First thing you want to do is ultimately make sure that everything on the internet is apropos as what it is. You don't want any duplicate listings. Are there any issues that Google is reporting? Just like in Google Webmaster Tools, they're going to report any particular issues that you may have with your information. Is there a conflict with address? Is somebody else trying to claim your address or whatnot? And do a search for your address and see how many different listings there are. Now we're going to take a look at, in the next slides as well, some of the best practices for filling out your profile. Obviously, one of the number 1 factors is to ensure that it's 100% complete. If we notice, Google is always giving us little hints as to what's important to rank. And when we see a progress bar in the different areas of a profile, we know that it's relatively important that Google wants to collect as much data as possible. So they're going to hurt businesses that don't have all the information that's completed properly, and support businesses that do have it 100% 100% complete. Now you can make sure you connect your Google Analytics and YouTube channel. YouTube is very important for small businesses. We're going to talk about different aspects of video and what's important for video. You want that attached to your Google My Business. So it is available in Google Plus. It is available in all of Google's different products, and you're able to share that and then, of course, get analytical and insight data on it. That leads us to Google Analytics. Google Analytics is a standalone product. Inside Google My Business, you're going to see that there's some analytics that are available. They're very basic analytics. If you've ever tried to use Google Analytics, you can just hit a button, boom, and bring you right over. And it gets very detailed, the amount of information that you can get on a website, whether it's aspects to what traffic's coming to your site, from what keywords, where they're coming from, what sources they're coming from. Are they converting? Are they taking a call to action? You could even set up different call to actions, i.e. click the call. Are they taking these actions on these pages? So all that information is coming together. Now, this is one bullet point, but very important. Focus on followers and businesses. Essentially, what is marketing by definition? Marketing is the practice of creating a message, marketing material, and distributing that message to an audience that would appreciate that message, or an audience that resides with it, such as society at a large, or customers, or prospects. And when we look at what SEO is, search engine optimization, it's all a matter of creating content and distributing it to where your audience resides. It's just marketing. SEO, by definition, is the same as marketing by definition. But certain SEOers have taken a lot of different methods that are either gray hat or black hat. We hear that term. For example, creating articles, distributing articles to a variety of different article sites gets us a whole bunch of links. We can then take those articles, put it in a spinning software, get 5 different versions of each article, distribute it, and use automated distribution software and distribute it to 100 different article sites. Well, now you have 2,500 links from one particular article. Yeah, that does help from time to time, and it has helped a lot more in the past for SEO purposes. But I would take one link over that 2,500 links if I had a link, say, from a press release from my local business because they went through, say, they remodeled their office, and that press release was distributed and published by the local newspaper, which gives us one link. Well, in both cases, we're creating content and we're distributing it. But you can see in both scenarios, 2,500 links versus one link, it comes down to reality. And then the same thing with SEO is that you're only going to win at the SEO game in the long run with clients. And I run, whether it's your own local business or your agency, my objective as a business owner is to build long-term relationships. I don't want to earn the right to some of my clients for a 6-month period. I want those clients that are with me for years to come. And I really believe that if you deliver a high-quality service, a high-quality marketing service, search rankings ultimately follow. And they do, especially when we see the algorithmic updates and rankings aren't dropping. So getting back to the point of followers, we are not a social media firm, and nor do we preach to be a social media firm. But social media is yet another channel to effectively distribute content and get content shared. There are measurements in the algorithm that look at content. If a content piece goes viral, it's obviously an interesting piece of content for some reason. We got to look into it a little bit further. So if you can get content and engagement from your audience, and following some of the best social media practices, for example, we have an 80-20 rule in our agency, that when we propagate content for a particular client, 80% of the time the content has a lot of value for an audience. In other words, it's not self-serving. We may or may not have call to actions on that 80% of social media content that we would propagate. Maybe we're highlighting a local news story, a local feel-good story, like Boy Saves Dog type of story. Maybe we've got a joke in there, or a piece of content that's relevant to the dentist or chiropractor or plumber that we're working with. But 20% of the time is self-serving, and that's going to be self-promoting. And that would be sending our audience to a piece of content that we've created specifically for the local business. It may be an infographic, it may be a video, it may be a call to action to get a free analysis or examination of some sort. So there are best practices and understanding some of the best practices of social media. Another aspect is that we ensure is that we're posting content a couple of times a week as a minimum. And we're really just utilizing that to ensure that there's valuable content that exists, that our audience are resonating with it. In addition to that, when we have a property on the internet, such as a website or a blog, and when we have control of it, we want to ensure that content is readily available to be shared. In other words, we got plugins in our content management system of the website, predominantly WordPress in our case, that allows us to add easy share buttons and control the share buttons. And you want to share with Google, Twitter, and Facebook. Really, those are the three big threes. Maybe Instagram. But other than that, when you start seeing a whole bunch of different share buttons for local businesses, what is Tumblr? Unless your audience is dealing with 13-year-olds, Instagram and Tumblr and Snapchat or whatever, all these things out there, they're not relevant of all the different social aspects. So understand the social media best practices. I just gave you 3 or 4 points of some of the top best practices. Now, focus on reviews and citations. Well, I did a webinar called, and I've put together the 3 pillars of local search. I feel like local search can fall into any one of these 3 pillars. That's going to be profiles, reviews, and thirdly, citations. Well, today we're talking about Google My Business. Essentially falls into the pillar of profiles. And in a few moments, we're going to look at some of the best practices of completing these profiles and some of the tweaks to ensure that you'll get higher ranked. Reviews, I am going to mention our review acquisition strategy. And reviews are very important. They're a major piece of Google My Business. When we go and take a look at it, we can manage our reviews. We utilize third-party software. We don't utilize Google to look at reviews. We utilize third-party software, but we do track the internet for all the different reviews for our local business all over the internet and report back to that. The number one form of marketing, even with the internet, hands down, is word-of-mouth marketing. Period. It always has been and it always will be. Well, reviews are a form of word-of-mouth marketing. When you've got a friend that has suggested to go buy from this business, and that friend has a need to buy from that business, they're not going to go through the evaluation process. They're just going to merely go ahead and in most cases, trust that friend. Now, citations, for example, whether we talk about a link or a citation for a local business, I don't really care in my agency, to be honest. We don't care about citations or links. We care about exposure. I would prefer if the SEO industry got rid of the terminology of citations and linked and changed it with exposure. It doesn't matter. It's just we've gone far beyond the days of the algorithm that a simple anchor text is really going to influence our, at least for a local business, is really going to influence some of our search phrases and the text that's around it. If you're creating effective content, you're gonna follow the best practices that the search engines are looking for when it comes down to different aspects of exposure. Now, I was also talking about exposure, for example, on 2,500 different article sites versus one local press publication. Well, in my mastermind group last week, actually it was this week, 2 days ago on Tuesday, we were talking about different methods to acquire citations and links. And I said to my group, I said, well, we don't get links. And somebody says to me, kind of laughs and chuckles. He says, well, Scott, you're at a higher level than all of us. And I just kind of laughed. And I said, well, what? I appreciate it. I'm kind of flattered, but what the hell do you mean by that? And he says, well, some of the citations that you talk about are pretty far-fetched, whether it be a weather station or, a red box directory or the National Registry of Historic Places, the nrph.org, different government exposure. Well, No, that's not. I'm not ahead. I'm, as far as I'm concerned, I'm at where you should be. Everyone else is just laggards, and you find that in a variety of different industries. That's why I say to a lot of people that try to become SEOers, take off your technical hat and put on your artistic hat. You're a marketer. You're not a web developer. You're not tweaking different. You're not tweaking a different metric data over here and there to influence a search engine. You can do that, and you can learn all about these strategies, guys. But you're going to be chasing the algorithm. Look at how many businesses have spawned for link cleanup ever since Penguin and Panda were released, and Hummingbird. People are out there in businesses charging thousands of dollars to clean up people's profiles. Well, that's because they've tried to dupe the search engine. You're not going to do that. You've got to become a marketer and create quality marketing material for small businesses. So when I talk about citations, we're going to take a look at videos to create the effective images. We're going to look at, and I'm going to show you guys how to create spherical views inside of offices and whatnot. That's data, and those are citations and content that are highly relevant and actually very easy to get out there, as opposed to utilizing some of the more black hat strategies that have existed and learned about. You know, I figure that 10% of SEOers out there have got it right. It's 90% that are getting it wrong, and 90% of the information that seems to be out there is just that. All right, now we're going to get into some of that in a few moments. When we're taking a look at the profiles and whatnot, here are some of the top points that are relevant and ensure. When you're looking at a progress bar, obviously make sure that your profiles are filled out 100%. And when you're using descriptions of the business, you can now utilize different anchor texts and links, and you've got to utilize that effectively. Don't keyword stuff your descriptions, but make sure you utilize as much as possible of all the characters in that description. Now, when I talk about quality, effective descriptions, for example, you can take a chiropractor or a dentist, discuss both symptoms of their service, which are features, and talk about aspects of their particular services that help, the advantages and benefits. And the reason why I want you to talk about the features, advantages, and the benefits of either the services or the products that they offer, these are going to be what are called core modifying key terms. When I look at a keyword, I look at three different components of a keyword. When we do keyword research, guys, we don't even utilize a single tool that's available on the internet anymore. I've been down that path. When you're looking for a keyword and you're doing keyword research for a local business, there's a whole different strategy that we teach at Local Marketing Source. Just to give you a quick overview and an example, is you've got a core term, you've got a core modifier, and you've got your geomod. Those are your three components. And identifying the terms for those businesses, for example, a chiropractor's core term is going to be chiropractor and chiropractic. Well, your core modifiers are going to be some of the ailments that chiropractor addresses. Some chiropractors are going to deal with back pain. Others deal with sciatica. Some deal with scoliosis. Some deal and position themselves and market themselves as wellness providers as opposed to pain providers. So you can see how a chiropractor, just like McDonald's and Burger King, tend to position themselves slightly different into the marketplace, even though they're offering the same service. Those are going to end up becoming your core modifier terms. And then your geomods are real simple. Those are your geographical modifiers, such as Chicago, or your zip code, or your airport code, or your state code. And then once you've listed out and done all your research for that, you can then create the combinations and permutations of your keywords. But when you're writing a description and a profile, focus in on your core modifier list. And that's going to get you into the multitude of categories that you're ultimately looking for. Now, establish NAP format. This is your name, address, phone number, NAP. In some cases, my office is at 200 North Harrison Drive. Am I going to write it out 200 N Harrison DR, or am I going to write it out 200 North Harrison Drive? Well, following branding principles, branding 101, establish a consistent format, and on all profiles, follow that exact same format when you're filling it out, as well as utilizing that same format on your website. Now, another factor that is often missed is almost every business has a website, but then they'll utilize a Google account and have some name at gmail.com. Well, you want to attach your domain name, and what we do is we ask our clients to set up an email address, marketing@domainname.com. We get full access to that email address, and that is the email address that we attach to a lot of different profile accounts. So utilize that. Now, photos. I think this is really important. First off, you have to have a minimum of 5 high-quality photos. Now, Google has got the technology to look at a photo, whether it's a photo of just a logo, if there's people in it, if it's outside lighting, if it's inside lighting. They can tell these different things. They can tell if a photo is out of focus or not in focus. And their technology for this is getting better. So we just have to assume that we've got to take high quality photos and offering photographs that have high value to a user. Google puts a good amount of weight on photographs. It actually works out, if you follow and reverse engineer the algorithm, works out to about a 12% weight on ranking photographs alone. And if they've got the technology, which we assume that they do, to determine quality photographs, when we've seen evidence of this where photographs just don't show up for photos that are added, or logos and whatnot. But you want an image of the photograph of the business outside, inside, different rooms, maybe if they've got vehicles, of a vehicle or two, maybe if they've got doctors or an owner that's important, a photograph of them. But a minimum of 5 high quality photos. Now, another thing, when I talk, like if I go to my next point, when I talk about videos, and you can see that one of the videos I suggest is called a video walkthrough, we feel that a business should have a minimum of 5 videos as well. Video walkthrough is one video that we do, and we just take 90 seconds and walk through the office, speed it up to 15 seconds, add some music to it and a couple of titles, and we have a nice video walkthrough and another piece of marketing material that has value to somebody that's going to go and check out, say, a new doctor's office. But virtual tours, when I go back a point here now, my pen marks still stay. Virtual tours are something now that you can add. You can hire a professional to go to a local business and get this done for a one-room company. A virtual tour is going to cost about $350. It's basically the street view that allows somebody to kind of navigate through a building or an office space. Now, this is also an upsell service that you can add to your agency. If you do upsell this and learn how to do this, you can get listed on Google's site. Guess what? That's another citation for your agency as a trusted source. This is something that I recommend you guys do. This is something that we're now implementing across the board for all of our clients to do virtual tours. We are shooting them ourselves. If you haven't, you can do it with an Android phone, or you can do it with your DSLR. You can do it with any digital camera. It's really easy. Essentially, you're just creating panoramic views of each room of a 360-degree image. I'm going to show you how to do this with a DSLR. It's actually a setting you can do on an Android device. It adds little blue dots. It shows you where to take the pictures. Some of the things that you want to make sure that you're doing is, if you're utilizing a flash, use the flash for all shots. Definitely use a tripod. It makes life a heck of a lot easier when you're doing it. And, well, here, let me show you. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go and find my images. I went and took some images, actually, just today. I just wanted to go show it outside because it's a relatively nice day. It's a lot sunnier right now than it was earlier today. And I believe these are the images. Oh, no, those aren't the images. That was me on my trip. That's actually my daughter's friend driving a really big ship. We went on a ferry there last week. And here's the first image. So what I did is I went out and I took, this is just outside my office. This is Fox River in Algonquin, Illinois. And I took pictures, and you can see the next picture that I took, that's picture number 2, picture number 1. There's a 40-degree overlap roughly. And I just kept taking pictures. You can see I'm doing 180 degrees, so there's what, 9 different pictures that you take. And then you can go into your favorite photo stitching software. You can download photo stitching software relatively inexpensive. But I use Photoshop. And in Photoshop, you just go down to Automate and Photo Merge. And I uploaded all the files. And then you just go ahead, and I'm not going to upload them now. Well, I went from that one right there to that one. I clicked open, put all the files in there, and then I click OK. When you do that, it takes about 3 or 4 minutes, and this is the result. And you can see you've got what am I doing here? You can see you've got a pretty cool panoramic view of, this is 180 degrees. I would just turn around here, and because I needed a little bit of cropping and whatnot, I would just crop my image the way I wanted it, boom, and then save it as a JPEG, and then I would turn around and upload this to Google. I'm going to show you where to do some of that stuff, and that's essentially what we'd be creating to do different internal views. So that would be the virtual tour. Now, I'd also mentioned videos, and videos are really important for businesses. Here's 3 different examples of videos that you could put together for a local business. A 4th example would be, a commercial style video that's discussing the service or the product. A 5th video would be, an overview of the business itself, not necessarily from the owner or the CEO. Service area is something that's very important. If you watched I have a whole webinar. Actually, we got 7 different videos in our portal just on review and review establishment and whatnot. But reviews are very important for ranking, conversion, and establishing service area. You can get a much bigger service area, so businesses rank further away against competing businesses. And that's when we utilize different QR codes for tracking and whatnot on that. I'm going to talk about the review acquisition strategy. And get a review acquisition strategy in place. Essentially what we do is we create postcards or business cards, and we don't solicit reviews, or we don't ask our clients to solicit reviews, but we put great time and effort into educating not only business owners but business employees on the importance of having a lending ear for when they hear, hey, I was happy with my teeth whitening service. Oh, thank you, Mr. Customer. Would you be able to leave us a review? Here's a postcard. On that postcard, there are instructions to leave us a review. We put a QR code on there so they can scan it with their smartphone that they're already signed in to Google from and go and leave a review for that business. Well, there's a lot more to it, but that's just a quick overview of the review acquisition strategy. There's a nice cover sheet of the Google Local cheat sheet that I put together for you all today. You can go ahead, get that downloaded if you haven't written down that address. This is the 3rd slide that you got. Make sure you do have your pen and paper out. I'm going to have a couple of other addresses because I'm going to give you access to a free course. Inside my portal. This is only a 45-minute, 1-hour presentation. I think I've got 7 or 8 hours of education that you can go and pick and choose into different areas, all for free for you today. But some of the things that you definitely want to stay away from is go ahead and spend the time and read Google's terms and conditions. Please do it, especially if you're a marketer. It's a long, boring read, but understand it from their perspective. Don't just listen to people like myself. Get in there your own self and get the information, and don't do anything that Google says you shouldn't do. Stay away from 800 numbers. Definitely just use local numbers. Stay away from phone number tracking at all possible unless you're utilizing Google AdWords and utilizing their tracking feature. This is branding reasons. You don't want different phone numbers that are out there. Businesses that are going to have physical addresses, definitely show them. This is a given. Don't hide it. If you've got multiple pages for a single location or a single business, that's definitely going to hurt your rankings. Get rid of those duplicate listings at all costs. Get rid of duplicate phone numbers that you would have on a multiple different pages. Not having it complete, obviously, is something important. Lack of pictures, social, and reviews. When we actually get into the portal, we're going to go and take a look at that right now, actually. And I'm going to open up this browser here, because I believed I'm already logged in. And what's going on? All right. So we're just logged into just a simple chiropractor's office here. You can see that they've got a minimum of 5 different photos that are showing. Quickly, we can just see that they've got a few different followers, their web address, their NAP, their hours of operation, and whatnot. When we scroll down here, when we're logged in, we got the ability to edit. What's nice up here is this is just your Google button. These are all the different things that you can do with this particular business. We'll go and look at a few of those in a moment. Right at the top, you've got the ability to share right on a social network. You'd want, as mentioned, we talked about some social sharing. I had mentioned insights. We can go and view a variety of different insights of how many different views they had in the last period of time, and different actions that have been taken on certain followers. I like the review tab here. We can go and manage the reviews. They've got this business here has an average rating of 4.8 out of 5. And you can see here one of the more recent reviews was, well, yesterday. They got a review yesterday, and you can go and click and respond to this review if it was a negative review or whatnot. But reviews are very, very important. Now, click on an analytics tab of different reviews. We can see how many reviews they have on Google that Google's picking up, and how many reviews around the web. That's 16 on Google, and that's 18 all around the web. So here's your breakdown. You get 8 on Yellowbot and Yahoo and Superpages, and you can go and look at these reviews and whatnot. What's another good thing is to look at some of the stars. There's one review on Google that's got a 2-star rating. It'd be interesting to know who gave that rating, respond to that rating, go and get it. Everything around the web seems to be really, really good. This business is getting some really good reviews. They're doing very, very well. Google Analytics we were talking about. What you want to see with Google Analytics is you don't want to see red. In this case here, this would be a business that's going to have to make some changes and make some stepping up in terms of what's not. We'd probably want to go and dig into some of the rankings and what's going on. Why is their traffic down 60%? It could also just be the time of year and certain reasons and whatnot. But when you go and you can click on Analytics, now it opens up the new tab in this case here, and it goes right into your Google Analytics account. And inside your Google Analytics account, I could do multiple webinars just on Google Analytics, but it gives you a variety of different data as to what's going on. And you can go and click on a whole bunch of different things, and how long people have been on your site, how many pages they see, and how many they've come across, and where they've come from, what different cities they've come from. All around, you can see these would be local cities around the area. YouTube. I just want to emphasize, guys, that Google has a whole bunch of different products that exist out there, but they've only got a few different products that are relevant to local businesses, and it's integrated completely into Google My Business. This is YouTube, and you're looking at subscribers are obviously an important metric. All the metrics that we see on here, if we can go into any one of these products of Google, you see Google is showing us 3 or 4 metrics. Well, these are metrics that are important to a business. These are also metrics as a marketer that we want to influence. If we influence these metrics, these are metrics that are ultimately going to help rankings. Get that through you, that in order to influence most of these, requires good marketing. How do you influence positive reviews? Well, you've got to have a good business behind everything and encourage people to leave reviews. Google's going to look at ratios like these ratios here. And in Hangouts. And Hangouts are something that we want to encourage our businesses to do more often, whether it be with doctors and patients or different talks or communication or whatnot. Now, in addition to that, you've got these tabs down here where you can see a business stream, just like would be on Facebook, people that are connected to the business. You can go into when we start talking about influence and reviews and some of the content that I've created for the review acquisition strategy. We identify key players, and this would be in areas that you go and manage all of that. But utilize Google to the fullest extent that you can for local businesses. Very, very important to do so. All right. Now, guys, I'm going to open the floor in about 10 minutes to any questions that we may have. I can see that we've got quite a few people that have come on the line since I've started. This is being recorded, so if you had missed anything in the beginning, I will have the recording available for you, and we'll send out an email to everybody to be able to get it. I covered a lot of different stuff. You do have that Google cheat sheet download that you could definitely download and utilize. I also made reference to different webinars that are relevant. You can see that you can start to piece together a lot of different information that I have available for free and on my blog. We are going through a website redesign right now, just to let you know, and it's going to make it a lot easier to find content. But if you just wanted to do searches and you wanted to find the webinars that I was talking about, such as the 3 pillars, do a Google search for 3 pillars and local marketing source, and you should be able to find those webinars. So after I go through, I'm going to take 5 minutes of your time now. I've given you a significant amount of my time, and I'm going to ask you to listen to what we do have to offer you. Of course, there's a cost to it, but we do have a free marketing course also available to you. Just like other businesses, and we practice what we preach, I'm just in the business of trying to earn the right to your business, and we feel that we've got a very value-added back-end membership. Once a year, we do a promotion. And this is that once a year promotion that I'm going to share with you. This is a big promotion for us. Once a month, I'll do webinars, and we have the offer of our membership. But today, I've got something that's a little bit bigger. So if you haven't bought, this would be a great time to buy in. Now, just to tell you a little bit about what the membership is about and what you're going to get from. Actually, I don't even like the term membership, what you want to call it. But it's a full community, and it gives you access. Yes, I've got a variety of different videos that are available out there for you, but it's the community, in my opinion, that's going to get you the real value for your money. Now, from the videos, as an example, I've got over 100 different videos that include a variety of different webinars, archived questions and answers. You get transcripts of every single video, so you print those up and you follow along with it, put your notes on it, workbooks. Did dozens and dozens of management files. I do have an agency. I'm sitting in my agency right now. Everything that I utilize in my agency and I've blueprinted and created for this course, so you can go ahead and build your agency. Now, when I say the private Facebook group, that's where the real value is. We've got dozens and dozens of members that are in there. We've got some very, very successful active members that are in there. I can think of Josh Nelson, Scott Meadows, for example, that are very active in the forum. They've been members for quite some time, and they've both built their business from zero. They both left full-time jobs when they bought Local Marketing Source and had acquired enough business to start their agencies. They now have fantastic offices and staff, and beautiful. Well, you can speak with them. You can learn a lot. I'll show you the Facebook group. It's pretty awesome. I do weekly calls with you, and then we also do student hot seats, where we focus in on specific different clients and look at the challenges and the results, whatnot. Now, yeah, you get several different training courses. Of course, you get support with this as well. I'm going to show you the support portal. So if you ever have any problems or whatnot, we really try to be accessible to you. You get my private email address and phone number. Here's a picture of Josh Nelson. I was mentioning Josh. He's become a good friend of mine. You know, when he bought into the product, to the training, he paid over $2,000 for the training in 2010. He said he'd buy it 5 times over if he had to. Um, you know, this year, well, last year he billed over $1 million in 2013. And this year in 2014, he's on target to do, actually, in the next 12 months, he's on target to do over $2.5 million. But in 2014, on his books, he's going to do $1.8 million in sales. This is somebody he's just awesome. He will talk about all of his strategies, everything that he does. He's an open book, just like me. You can get in and get to see all of that. Here's just a list of different ideas. I mean, I really try to cover a variety of everything. You know, like I said, there's over 100 different videos that are in there, and you work at them at your own pace. Probably going to take you 6 months to get through them all. But I think of it like a university. It took me 5 years to get through university. So, and once you get in and be able to see the portal, we'll go and take a look at the portal here in a moment once it loads up. Here we go. And then once you're in here, you can see you know, a pull down menu. One of my favorites is the resource directory. I'm going to show you all the different resources that are available. So if you wanted to work on your sales and marketing portion of your business, you just go to sales and marketing, and here's a whole bunch of proposals. I've got contracts in here. You know, I paid $400 for my contracts when I bought them from my attorney. And these are the same contracts that we utilize, different training videos. You go into the operations section. There's a whole bunch of other ones that are used for, you know, different checklists, Google Places checklists, on the page checklists for your website. That's a little, this one here is, you know, you're getting I gave you for free a watered down version of just this one document right here. Everything you need for websites, you know, privacy policies and stuff like that. Whoopsie. Blah, 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 blah. So you get a lot of different stuff. In the portal. Actually, I did want to go back and show you something else. The members here, here's your calls, all your webinars, and you can see just with, you know, with local SEO, for example, broken it down into the 3 different pillars. And, you know, just on the citations alone, you know, we got 3 different videos on citations. Here's a video on citation sources. All the videos are numbered. Each of those numbers do mean something. Here's your transcript that you can get from it. And, you know, I'll hit play and let's see some sources here. So go ahead, take a screenshot. Whoops. Because there's a variety of different sources and whatnot. And then your transcripts. All right, I'm going to get through this. We're almost there. Almost done, guys. N, hit N for next. All right. This is 30 seconds, not even, you know, a little bit more, about a minute. Just some testimonials of some people, what they've had to say. So, a lot of happy people.
I am not even advertising myself. All my business now is referral business.
What I liked about Scott was real solid principles for an ongoing business.
Had the course in my hands physically for about 2 weeks, and already I've booked 2 clients from just using the information in module 1.
I had 5 clients, and that allowed me to quit my job.
I was able to go out and get my first client within the first few weeks.
You know, because I'm only on module 2, but I only needed up to module 2 to get going. And the thing that I got from Scott was you don't need to learn everything straight away. The most important thing to do is to go out and get your first client.
And so Scott's course really gave me that confidence.
All right, guys. And lastly, let's get to what's it going to cost you to get in and where you got to go. Just for any support that you ever want to get. We've got all the different video training that you get. You get the weekly training on the calls, which are all recorded. There's the 888 number that you can call at any point in time that you want. Heck, I'd even give you my cell phone number if you wanted. We have a Zendesk support group, support portal, that is responded in. We have somebody that will respond within 24 hours. And then, of course, the private Facebook group, and I can't talk today. And then finally, our least preferred way to communicate with us is email. All right. What you're going to get today as a bonus, if you get this, does not normally, if you went to my website today and bought this today, you would not get these bonuses. Now, I charge $250 an hour for consulting. I'm going to give you 30 minutes of my time to sit down. You could talk about whatever you want. Even if you want to get some relationship advice, which trust me, you don't want from me, you can get it. We'll talk about it, whatever you want. Typically, people walk out of there with a little bit of a plan and what they're going to look at for the next 6 months to build their agency. You'll also get a copy of my book. I have a published book. You can go and buy it for $20 over on Amazon right now. I'll send you a copy directly. Yes, I'll sign it as well. It'll give me a little bit of an ego stroke for a little bit, but nonetheless, you do get a hard copy of that book. I'll also give you, if you buy today, my email address and phone number. Okay, that's not really a bonus. You can get that at any time to students. It is available. You can contact me. And then finally, if you go ahead and make your purchase today, we have LMS, we have member calls. Now, I decided I'm actually going to do it this way, that anybody that wants to get in on this call today, this is a member call that my members pay for once a week. I've got, it's everything that's happened in the last 7 days, and we get into some very detailed, high-level mastermind discussion of some very detailed strategies. Anybody that wants to get on, whether you buy or not today, you want to get in and listen in on one of my calls, send an email to support@localmarketingsource.com. Now, just say, I want in on the call, and we'll send you the details. I haven't told my support team about this yet, so they please wait until I'm done the presentation to let them in. I can see I've got a couple hundred people on the line right now. I don't know how many emails we're going to get. And you may hear our dogs bark in about 5 seconds. We have somebody coming in my office. No. I got 2 big dogs in my office, and I wouldn't trade them for anything, but they're guard dogs. Anybody that comes in, they bark, so it always makes it interesting when I do presentations. But send an email, you get into my live member call and see what we're all about there. All right, so the cost of this program, there's no commitment, is $97, as well $100 a month. And we have members that gladly pay that month after month after month. You heard some of them. You can get into the Facebook group and you can ask them straight up. Now, today, we're offering it for $47 a month. Now, you're going to be grandfathered into that price indefinitely. This offer is only available until June 30th, so 3 or 4 more days. You don't have to buy. It's not you have to buy today. You can go home. You can talk to your wife about this. You can talk to your business partner about it. Just write down the address that I'm going to give to you. In addition to that, just like all the other products that are out there, I'm more than happy to give you your money back if this is not for you. It's as simple as that. I want to get you in and demonstrate to you some of the value that this has. Guys, if you're running an agency or you're thinking about running an agency, this is a no-brainer. I used to sell all of this content to dozens and dozens and dozens of people at $17.94. That's $1,800. Guys like Josh Nelson that built his $2 million business, that thinks of Scott Gallagher as God for helping him with all this education, paid over $2,000 for it. He said he would buy that 5 times over. He's only a part of the community now because he gives back, because he was so thankful for the guidance that he received. This is a no-brainer. You know how much money I spent on going to school to get an education? I tried to build this business around the formalities of a second a post-secondary education at the university level. You don't need even a college degree to attend this material. It is not at that high of a level. Even if you haven't graduated high school, I've tried my best to put this down into plain English. We've had people that don't even have their high school education that have gone through this. The value of this content is more than that of college or education. Price will increase tomorrow. That's a lie. It's increasing July 1st. But your price will remain the same. We're constantly selling this at $100 a month, and we do this promotion at this time of year once a year. Now, I'd also mentioned to you that I have a free course available for you. No credit card necessary. Just give me your name and your email address. I'm going to give you a link to sign up for that in a moment as well. Grab your pen. Here's your link, bit.ly/LMS_discount. All right, so there it is again. And there's the access, and you can see the link to the free course, LMS_MKTG_course. All right, guys, I want to thank you for listening to that. It's always nice to hear that when I go through a sales pitch and I have a 92% attendance rate through the sales pitch. You know, people really don't like to be sold, but people like to buy. So give it option. But I am going to open the floor to any questions. Sounds like you guys had some audio problems. I wonder what time that was. I'm sorry about that. Jim, how long is the maximum description that Google will accept? Last I heard was 420 characters. Carrie asks, is this recorded? I missed the beginning. Yes, this is being recorded. We will email the link out to everybody that registered for the presentation. Leo. Oh, Leo is a Google photographer in New Jersey, and he says, thanks for mentioning the importance of business view. Yeah, it is very, very important, Leo, and it's good to see that you're a photographer. I'm actually just beginning to learn all of that stuff myself. So I hope that my Photoshop tutorial was worthy. George is obviously gone, but he says he has to go. Hopefully there's a recording. He has to pick up his kids. Carrie is a member, and yes, Carrie, we will definitely honor that for you. Just contact support@localmarketingsource.com. You won't need to go through any of that process. She just wanted to know. She's paying $100 a month, I'm guessing. And she says, I'm already a member, so can I cancel and re-sign up for $47 a month? No, there's no need to cancel. You can just take advantage of this promotion. We won't, and then we'll grandfather you in at that price for as long as you're a paying member. So that's nice to see. Mike, you're welcome. Gordon's, why shouldn't you use a tracking phone number in Google My Business? Why shouldn't you use a tracking phone number in Google My Biz as long as you use the same number in all the citations? Well, the reason is it comes down to branding. And if you have a whole variety of different phone numbers that exist out there, that doesn't follow branding principles. It's confusing to a consumer. So businesses that provide consumer confusion tend to get hurt by Google. There's no value in Google's world to have a whole bunch of different phone numbers. They can't match the NAP up. It's more difficult for them. So they penalize businesses that are utilizing tracking phone numbers, especially dynamic. Now, Google does have a tracking solution that's available. Ken's interested in the review acquisition strategy, Ken, I would just get in and get the membership, take a look at it. I'll be honest. Go take a look. Pay your $47. Go and grab the review acquisition strategy, and if there's nothing else of value for you, cancel. I know once you're in, you're going to see that there is good value. If you're in this business, you're going to get value from it. But go in, grab the review acquisition strategy. Ken, we also provide you with those postcards, as mentioned. I also give you the PSD files, the Photoshop files, so you can go and manipulate them, the fronts and backs, manipulate them how you want. And, you know, we localize every one of ours that we hand out. George is asking, is there a more in-depth to the webinar that was for LMS members and that will be uploaded? Oh, we did do this webinar for LMS members. Yes, George, there is. It's not available yet. But LMS members did get this webinar earlier, and there was some greater detail into it. Evelyn, a student that... Evelyn, if you want to get back in, we do have discounted rates. She paid $1,800 for the content. She did find it overwhelming. Wondering if you can handle it now. Well, we've repurposed a lot of it. We've done a lot of work to try and enhance the value. At that point in time, you got into the membership. You weren't paying membership fees for quite some time. Now we've seen it that once people get in, they work at their own pace. They're not rushed, and we do have what did we call them? Oh gosh, I'm getting brain fart right now. Syllabus. We do have course syllabuses available that allow you to guide you through a variety of the different information. Is the membership month to month or a commitment? Absolutely month to month. Cancel at any time. There's no commitments. Truth is, Todd, even with my SEO clients, I need them for 6 months in order to deliver a return on investment. But I don't even hold my clients to a full contract. I believe in my service. I believe in my service with Local Marketing Source as I do with my business, One Marketing. Peter, please talk a little bit about the process of doing the work on behalf of clients. Do they sign up with Google and then grant management rights, or is there a way to all of it for them? Well, we do have documents that are available when you become a member that follow step by step exactly what to do specifically for a brand new client. Now, we look at ourselves as an agency. We look at ourselves as a marketing arm for our client. So if our client wants to get involved and do some work, that's fine. But we got to assume that they're giving us money and giving us the keys and we're ready to go. It's as simple as that. We hope that they give us greater rights to be able to create the material and whatnot. In a lot of cases, we've got to, in a lot of cases, they don't know that they have a Google account. They don't know what they've claimed and what they haven't claimed. And so one of the first steps that we do at Local Marketing Source is we call an inventory of assets. And we follow different steps to take a snapshot of the digital assets that a prospect or a client would own on the internet and put it into an LMS documents, and it's a spreadsheet, and we got to make sure that we have access to all, you know, it's just everything all together, their usernames and passwords to everything. And it gets fairly complex, but as long as it's all organized in one central source. So those are, you know, every client is going to be a different situation once we take that snapshot and where their gaps are, their holes are. Bruce is asking, can I really make some money by following your system? How can I reasonably expect to see in success? Well, I mean, that's a good question. Let's face it, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. We do have people that buy into the membership and ultimately refund. Some people do get a little bit overwhelmed. It's the nature of the beast. And, you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything here. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It's when I started my business, it takes a lot of work up front. and there's a lot of legwork. And one of the most difficult challenges in this business is acquiring new customers. So I've got quite a bit of material on sales training, business-to-business sales training and whatnot. I've got a lot of experience in creating different automated lead generation and whatnot. But that seems to be the biggest failure point for anybody is actually getting the clients and getting the clients and getting money for it. Well, there's not really a lot to fear from it. Somebody says, if somebody ever said to me, oh, they're a good salesperson, they could sell ice to an Eskimo, I know right off the bat that they're not a very good salesperson. To be a good salesperson, in my opinion, is really a lot of what we don't really think about. And in order to sell clients, it all comes down to volume and numbers. It's getting yourself in front of their face. Whether it be, different types of businesses are easier to get into than others. But once you're able to sit down with somebody and you're sitting down with enough people, you're going to close people. It's really that simple. And a good salesperson versus a bad salesperson is just going to close more business. And so there's just different areas that you're going to look at. But we do have the education for that. That's creating pain points, what reports you may want to show, what's the difference between a feature advantage and a benefit, why benefits sell, why people aren't buying a product or a service, they're buying a state, and that state is an anticipated feeling that they're going to receive from that product or service. So can you make some money at this business? Well, I make my living at it. You can talk to a variety of different local marketing source students that make a really nice living at it. I can think of Matt Coffey. He's billing $350,000. Scott Meadows is billing $500,000. Josh Nelson is billing 1.8. And when you're looking at profit margins of roughly 30 to 40%, they're making good money. Josh is taking home a couple $100,000 a year to his household, probably from his agency. And that's, 3.5 years of hard work. How can I, and then, to answer your question, how soon can I reasonably expect to begin seeing success? Well, if you're able to focus a significant amount of your time on sales, 30 to 40 hours a week for the first 90 days, 3 months of sales, you could get yourself going within your first 90 days. It's very feasible to generate $10,000 in recurring revenue within a 90-day period. I have something called my 90-day challenge, and it's just, again, it comes down to volume of numbers, of having enough leads. And the best way, hands down, to generate leads is the hardest way. It's the way I hate. I personally hate it, but that's cold calling, and that's door knocking, and that's offering value. But the fact of the matter is you clean yourself up, you get out there and you start actually door knocking, you will get successes. But there are other ways as well that we talk about that just aren't that. It's not like Josh and his team are out door knocking. Hans, what can you do if you genuinely run 2 businesses with the same phone number? Genuinely run 2 local businesses with the same phone number. Dude, that doesn't make sense. With all due respect, businesses need to be unique. How are you answering that phone? If they're 2 very similar businesses, I'd be asking a lot more questions about branding principles. If you're not going to buy the course, Hans, please get and go and register for the LMS free marketing course right now. I go through some marketing fundamentals, such as customer segmentation and branding, and these are right out of college level textbooks. Getting a second phone number is very, very simple and very, very cost effective, even if you got yourself a Google Voice, which is free, to be able to route calls and be able to look at what's going on. You don't want to have the same phone number for 2 business listings. You don't want to do that. You are going to get hurt in Google, and it also doesn't follow marketing principles. You're welcome, Ken. I'm glad you liked that response. George, same thing. You're welcome as well. Gordon's asking, so Scott, how do we document how many new phone-in customers are generated from Google My Business if we don't have a tracking phone number? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. You want to integrate Google Analytics, Google My Business, with a Google tracking solution that they recommend, one of them being CallRail that you could utilize. I don't want to get into all of that. That's a full webinar in itself. But the keyword there, Gordon, if you want to get some research, go Google CallRail, just how it sounds. Dr. Nelson is asking, do we get certification for all the course as per your syllabus? Doc, that's an excellent question. In terms of certification, you see, we ran into this with people that are starting out an agency and didn't have any clients and wanted to get some credibility for it. And so we do have certified logos that are available as an LMS member. However, that's all it is we're not a business to the point, and I say that to the point because I would like to be there, to be able to have the resources to effectively test individuals for certification and have greater authority of our certification. We don't have that. But we do have logos that once you're a member, you can go and download and say that you are a part of the LMS community. We have amazing reviews all over the internet. Nothing negative about Local Marketing Source. The only thing negative that we get is there's too much information, I was overwhelmed, or it's more than what I thought it was going to be. But there's never any knocks against our customer service or the content, the quality content that we offer. And so if somebody were to research LMS, we definitely have the supporting evidence for that, and A+ rating at the BBB and whatnot. Nick's asking, does the LMS program include mobile marketing? Nick, I can tell you've been around the block for a couple of years. There's always these internet marketing terms that I hear that put up a little red flag for me, where somebody's been, who they've been talking to, and whatnot. I think mobile marketing is one of the more bullshit statements that existed out there. No, I'm not regulated by the FAA. I apologize to anybody about my terminology, but I'm very passionate about that. You know, for example, the SEO industry just started to talk about Barnacle SEO. I mean, WTF? What Barnacle SEO? What is that? Or create your business avatar. What is business avatar? When I first heard this at an internet marketing forum, I fell off my chair when I learned about what business avatar is. They talk about it in business marketing books, and we've been talking about it for the last 50 years to segment your customer audience and create different personas that exist that's out there. But the internet marketing community, with the little ego and chip on their shoulder that they have, they figured they'd start to rebrand some terminology that existed in marketing. The light bulb is starting to go on for the SEO community. If you're going to create an avatar for your business, you're just properly segmenting your audience. If you want to learn about what Barnacle SEO is, and this is the whole new big thing in the last 6 months, it all breaks down to something simple. You're just doing real marketing for your clients as opposed to chasing the algorithm. So when somebody talks about mobile marketing for local businesses, you see, our industry has broken that up into social media marketing, SEO, mobile marketing, and these are all different components. You can go buy a course that's on, mobile marketing, another one that's on social media. I don't claim to be a social media marketing expert, but we do employ social media marketing strategies because it's important. It's an important piece of exposure. Well, mobile is another one of those things that all mobile is it's not a strategy in its own. It's just a different display device that your consumer or customer or prospect is going to be utilizing to research information. So don't think of it even as a different display device. Let's change this even further. What about when people are looking when they're sitting down at their office in their desk, or they're looking and they're taking a dump on the toilet, or they're sitting in their living room, or they're in their kitchen, or they're driving in their vehicle, or they're sitting in traffic, or blah, 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 blah. Of all the different places that we could potentially be researching information, we have these different devices. And a true marketer, a good effective marketing, is going to display the information that's relevant for that particular situation. So if they're driving, maybe they want to get driving instructions. Maybe a local business website, if we can tell that they're on the road, a local business website then should potentially show driving instructions and immediately move over to their GPS device. That would make a lot of sense. If they're on a mobile device and they're searching for a local business, maybe a click to call, a phone number feature is going to be really good, so they don't have to copy and paste the phone number into their phone app and go and call. But on a website, you're going to see different information. So mobile marketing with quotations around it, Nick, is not an entity in its own. It is a piece of the marketing mix for a local business. That's the long answer to your question. The short answer is yes. We include mobile marketing. Doug, I appreciate that comment. He says, I'm going to consider a membership, but unlike many webinars, this was time well spent. I appreciate that, Doug. Rhonda, do you teach how to hire salespeople? Yeah, we do talk about it. Yes, you can get in there. Josh is actually talked a lot about that. He's actually written about it and provided us some material. I do go through the process of hiring, how to pay people, what are the different payment options that are available to you. Whether you're doing a commission strategy or a base plus commission or a base salary plus some commission, where to pay commissions, how long to pay them, and we look at a lot of different implications. Steve's asking, can you give us the discount link again? I'm going to send it to everybody. I should have had somebody else doing this. So everybody has it now. Bruce saying, thanks for answering my question. Very helpful. Dr. Nelson says, thanks for the clarification. Carlos is saying, came in late. What's the difference between Google Plus and Google My Business? Is there a transition from Google Plus to Google My Business? Carlos, you're not going to get the long answer. The short answer to that is yes. The long answer is wait for the recording, because that is all at the beginning. We cover all the details and aspects of that. Steve saying, we have sales guys in different cities and want to get listings in each city. Do we need a completely different URL for each? Each already has their own unique phone number. Also, they work from home, most at least. And so what do you suggest for an address? It's a service-based business. 100% done on the phone and on webinars. Well, let's put it this way, Steve. If you want to be able to service a location, a specific neighborhood, Google is actually getting really good at even understanding specific localities of neighborhoods. For example, East Soho in New York City versus West Soho, because cultures may be different on East Side and West Side, and etc. You need to have a physical location. Physical location that mail can be mailed to. So if your only option is sales guys and their home address, then yes, you need to go down that route. Ken, nice. Thank you very much for that. Steve, you got it. Doc. Doc Nelson is saying, if we don't know anything about the social media and all the online stuff, can we learn all of this in your course and become an expert? Yeah, there's, I covered a couple of the main points there, Doc, for social media. It's really one of those games that people tend to be intimidated by and fearful of. Oh, maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't do that. I have an expression. We all make the same face on the shitter. And at the end of the day, it's really the truth. And you've got to take a step back. I'm assuming that you're I can't see your full name here, Dr. Nelson Monteiro. that you may be a dentist or a chiropractor. This may be for your practice or whatnot. And if that's the case, and utilizing that phrase that I just shared, and on the topic of social media marketing, you've got to think about content that your patients are going to gain value from. So depending on the field of business that you do operate in, let's assume you're a chiropractor for a moment. Either you're there and working with insurance companies and getting insurance claims, or B, you're providing a wellness service. And if, for example, you're a wellness chiropractor, you may want to share content that discusses the implications of high fructose corn syrup and the wellness benefits of eating or drinking homemade chicken broth versus something that you buy on the shelves. And you can create an ebook about some of these philosophies. You may even want to share the green smoothies that you're drinking in the morning to demonstrate you practice what you preach. You may want to share your run that you did in the morning, how you ran 7.5 miles this morning. Just different things like that. Oh, no, PhD. So I'm using the wrong examples here, Doc. I deal with a lot of chiropractors, and that's why I definitely am utilizing that. But in any sense, Doc, you can, if you would like, you can give our agency a call, and we'll do a full analysis of your business. We'll do, and then at the end of it, of course, we give you a proposal to try to earn your business. But if you wanted to implement some of this stuff yourself, you would buy into the membership program at Local Marketing Source and learn it. You can either do some of this yourself or have your secretary do it. But my agency will also provide you with, we'll do a full keyword research for you. We'll do competitive research, identify some of your competitors. We will segment your audience and create those personas or avatars, what you'd like to call them. And also ranking reports, and then give you a plan of action. But of course, the plan of action is where the work comes into place. That's what's involved. So that's another option for you as well, Doc. Okay. That would be awesome. I do suggest you come into the membership, Doc, and say hello to everybody. And especially with your connections that you may have developed over time, being a PhD would be a very, very lucrative industry to get involved in. Hans, we're back to the 2 phone numbers. When I was referring to having the same phone number for 2 local businesses, I run 2 businesses from home at my home address. I understand I can get another phone number, but what happens with the same address aspects? Do I get penalized for running 2 ethical businesses? This is a much better question, Hans. Do I get penalized for running 2 ethical businesses from home, both at the same address? Sorry, it seems confusing at first, but I run all local part-time carpentry from home, as well as an advertising agency. Thanks for your input. No, I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of businesses that have the same address and run into your situation. Ideally, you don't want to have all the same information like that, but you can definitely get them to both rank. However, what I do suggest is creating suites in your house. So one business is going to be suite 1 and the other business is going to be suite 2, or suite 100 and suite 200, or have fun with it. That way you can definitely clearly get a difference. And then just talk to your local post office to mention to them to deliver the mail. All right, Doc, that sounds good. Bob, he's saying, I'd like a proposal for my business. I love your course, but I don't have the time to do it. Well, I mean, let's face it, Bob, that's what it comes down to. That's why up front we do a lot of the work and, show everybody exactly where they're at, put the plan together. But most business owners are in business to do what they do, not a chiropractor is a chiropractor to adjust backs, not to be a marketer. So Bob, if you want to send me an email, Scott G. Here, I'll write it out to everybody. Scott G at One Marketing. That's WONmarketing.com. That's for the agency. So you can send me an email. I'll have your information. I'll reach out to you. I'll get some of your business information, and we've got to create all the reports and run that and put a proposal pricing together. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. I think I'm running out of questions here. We're now down to a 60% retention rate. Not bad. 90% for, well, we hit 95% for the presentation, 90% for the sales, and now down to 60% for all the questions. That's pretty good. I look at these numbers because I can tell how many people jump off the line, whether I'm offering value or not. And I really hope that I'm offering value. I know not everybody buys, let's face it. But if I can keep giving value to people and keep demonstrating that what we have of value, when they're ready, they're ready. This is the point in time in these webinars that I just keep talking and see how many people I can keep on the line. Bob, yes, there is going to be a replay of this. I am recording all of this. I don't know what we're going to do about the offer, though, because when we do replay it, the offer is not going to go up. The price is going to go back up to $100 a month. Maybe I'll take from last month's webinar at the $97 rate. But yes, there will be a replay. Just hang tight. I see Doc's got his hand up. I'm assuming that we answered all of his questions because he was typing as well. Okay, well, I don't see any more questions. So I'm going to go ahead and end this webinar, guys. I want to thank everybody for your time. And I hope everybody has a good day. And don't forget, support@localmarketingsource.com. Send your email and we'll send you the details to get on the LMS member call today. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 o'clock Central Time. And it's going to be exciting. All right, bye for now, guys.